WrestleMania 3, the grandest stage of them all. We've got Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, two of the most prolific stars in history, going head to head. Hulk Hogan ultimately wins the match. You know, he gets the body slam on Andre, big effing deal, everybody goes nuts. During the match though, Andre the Giant gets a pinfall on Hogan. The referee counts 1, 2, and then it's debatable if Hogan's shoulder got up, but the referee's hand hits the mat. As the match goes on, Hogan wins, but Andre's claims that he won the match way earlier on. So he gets a rematch. This actually becomes the most viewed wrestling program in history. Andre the Giant, who looks like a fast food baked potato that you didn't finish, makes his way down to the ring, accompanied by Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, and his associate Virgil. Then Hulk Hogan comes down, you know, he's got the bandana, everyone's going nuts, Hulk fucking Hogan doing his thing. Match gets underway. Not the greatest wrestling match. I mean, Hulk Hogan's never been the greatest wrestler, and Andre the Giant at this stage in his career looks and moves like the personification of a stomach ache. After a couple minutes, Andre sort of does this crappy hip toss move and falls down on Hulk Hogan and goes for the pin. The referee goes 1, Hogan gets his shoulder up, and then the referee goes 2, 3, ding ding ding. Andre the Giant wins the match. Hogan's clearly been ripped off, he kicked out. Andre the Giant turns around, gets his belt, immediately gives it to Ted DiBiase, who clearly paid him off for it. By the way, I love Ted DiBiase because first he tried to buy the championship belt, but that was an illegal move, so they strip him of it. Then the following year at WrestleMania, they do a championship tournament. And in the finals, it's Macho Man versus Ted DiBiase again, but Macho Man wins the championship. So now Ted DiBiase's 0 for 2 in trying to just business his way into a title. So what does he do? He goes and buys his own title, the $1 Million belt. If you can't beat him, fuck him, buy one. So Andre, $1 Million Man, Virgil, they scram. They get out of there as quickly as possible, and Hulk Hogan's now freaking out, kind of rightfully so, although it's all made up and fake. But Hulk Hogan's freaking out, and he turns around and he sees not 1, but 2 referees, and they're identical, and they're arguing and they're fighting. What's going on here? Clearly one of these 2 referees is to blame for this entire issue and had been bought off by the $1 Million Man, but who? They get to arguing, one turns on the other, you could tell who the bad one was. So Hulk Hogan picks him up and tosses him out of the ring. So then Hulk Hogan goes backstage, he's losing his shit, he's actually in tears, he's distraught over this whole thing, and for some reason the first thing out of his mouth is, who paid for the plastic surgery? Who did it? Wow, and for some reason he's caught up on this idea that someone had to have plastic surgery because he forgot that twins exist. And then we find out that there are 2 Hebners. There's Earl Hebner and Dave Hebner, and they're identical twins. One of the Hebner brothers was getting back at his brother for a bunch of stuff in their childhood, and one's the evil twin, and whatever. It all just goes to strengthen the stereotype that you can't trust a Hebner.